Hey guys, so today I am trying to take these dollar spot zip pockets that I found at Target for $1. I'm going to take them and try to make an insert for my traveler's notebook. Here is the new traveler's notebook I'm using, and this is a Stalogy, and I'm going to try to have them go around this beautiful yellow. I think that they would just look really great there. So for this project today, I'm going to be using the Fuse tool. That's by We Are Memory Keepers, and it's found in a lot of craft stores. And what it does is it fuses plastic together. It also has a piece that can kind of cut it and separate it. And this was put out originally, I think, for pocket scrapbooking, so you could create your own pockets in the plastic or just arrange your photos in a different way. So since the notebook, the insert that I'm going to be putting it around, is actually square on the edge, it's not rounded, I realized that that actually works really well for these because they have this edge that was made for the planners that they have at Target. And this was made for a ring-bound planner that they have also in the dollar spot, which is lovely, but for this, I'm going to try to fuse it together so that the spine stays square, and then hopefully it will lay nice and flat against the notebook once I put it inside. The other thing I'm going to be doing is having it both sides facing forward. The reason being when I can decide if I want to have the floral in the front or if I want these little paint splotches in the front. You can see when it turns around the other way, they will both lay forward. I hope that makes sense. So, see here, you can see that that's what I'm trying to make sure will happen. So I have the front one, or one of them, facing down and the other one facing up. And I'm going to go ahead and try to use this tool. I'm showing that I'm using the rounded one with kind of a serrated edge. That's going to fuse the plastic together versus the sharp pointy one will cut your plastic apart. So I went ahead and lined up the tool, and then I went up and pushed up with the serrated edge, and it did nothing. It kind of tacked it into place. It did give me hope that it would work, but it didn't work. I also want to let you know that I am using a mat by Ranger that is heat resistant. I love this mat. I use it for all my inking, painting, all sorts of crafting, and it's perfect for a project like this because it's heat resistant. And then I just have it on top of my normal cutting mat. It's nice and smooth, but you can use it for everything, and I'll link it below, so if you want to, you can check it out. So as you can see, I was really struggling trying to get this done. I did find that pulling was slightly easier, and that with a little bit of patience and kind of some elbow grease, as my grandfather used to say, that it did start to work. I realized that it was probably a little bit difficult because it had already been fused together, I'm sure by a machine, but it had been fused together. So I was not only trying to get through 4 layers of plastic, but I was also trying to go on top of something that had already been melted. So on this side, I actually just moved over next to where it had been fused together, and that seemed to work a whole lot better. At this point, I realized I was getting it all crooked already, even while I was using the straight edge of the fuse ruler. So I decided to just go ahead and just do it freehand. This is where you really need to be okay with being perfectly imperfect. I believe that everybody's traveler's notebook should kind of look unique to them. If you want it to look like somebody else's, of course, go ahead and, that's what you want, then that's what you should do. I love that traveler's notebooks, one of the amazing things is that no two ever look the same. And I think that's a really lovely quality of them. So in doing something like this, it's not going to be seen. It's going to be in the kind of the spine of my traveler's notebook. So even though I want it to look decent, it doesn't have to be perfect because it's barely going to be seen. So as I'm finishing up, I do want to note that you don't need a fuse tool to do something like this. You could definitely try to do this with some super glue and just put it down the middle, let it sit overnight, and see how that works. I'm a big fan of trying to use what you have. Since I have the fuse tool and I don't really use it that much, I thought it might be really cool to use here. And it did end up kind of working out exactly how I had thought. It wasn't as lined up as I had originally hoped it would be, but that's okay. And so I'm going to put it in around the yellow Stalogy insert. And I did decide to keep the paint swatches in the back part and the floral in the front for now. So when I went to reopen it, you can see that it kind of flopped towards the front already. It's not laying exactly how I wanted, but I'm going to be okay with that. Maybe over time it'll settle into place, but maybe not. Putting a couple things in there just to show as an example. These are not typical things that I would keep in my traveler's notebook. I don't like to bulk it up quite that much, but this was just an example that it's something you could put in. I most likely will put in ephemera or stickers or something like that. And then you can see if you want to switch around the cover, if you're just in a different mood or whatever. It's super easy to do that because we lined it up the correct way. And now I can stick the floral to the back and the paint swatches to the front. And just like that, you have a totally unique pouch pocket or zip pocket for your traveler's notebook. I will link products below, and if this is something that you enjoy seeing, please subscribe, comment, question below, and I hope you have a lovely day. And you can also check me out on social media to see kind of the other stuff that I'm doing.